pretend it, imagine it. As long as that is a signal that you are offering, because law of attraction cannot give you something different than you are offering. Just like when you tune your dial on your radio to 98.6, you can't hear the song that's being broadcast on 101. In other words, you have to be in vibrational harmony with your desire. So you say, well, how do I go about that? When here is where I am, and we say, well, where would you like to be? Well, I'd like to be over there, but I'm over here. Well, what's it like over there? Try to describe it, pretend it, imagine it. In other words, you see, the universe does not know if the vibration that you're offering is about something that you're living, that reality that so many people are wanting you to face. The universe does not know if the vibration that you're offering is in response or because of what you're actually living, or because of something that you're fantasizing or remembering. The universe only knows that that's your signal. So what you're wanting to do is do anything that you can do to offer the signal that matches your desire. Now, what does that mean? That means you want to talk about your desire. You want to talk about why you want it. You want to talk about it in ways that it feels good to you. You want to be aware of your emotional meter, and you want to be as specific as you can be about this new desire that you hold while still feeling good. And as we're moving forward in the hours that are before us, you'll begin to get a very clear sense of all of that. In other words, you can tell when you're offering words that are a vibrational match to your desire, and then you can feel when you begin to deviate from it. As you get sensitive to the way that you feel, you will know this. Sometimes teachers teach you meditation in the beginning of your work of enlightenment. And we think it is a very good place to begin, because when you take the time to meditate, which just means get yourself into a quiet place and try to quiet your mind, which means rein your thoughts in a little bit. Try to focus on nothing, which usually means find something very small to think about and think about that, like the dripping of a faucet, or the ticking of a clock, or even counting from 1 to 1,000, or listening to water in your gurgling fountain, or, in other words, something that requires a little bit of thought but not much. Because most teachers, and it is true with us also, we've discovered that in most cases it is easier to teach you to have no thought than it is to teach you to have pure positive thought.
Different than you, with several factors that are just really wonderful and worthy of conversation. But the things that are working well often aren't the things that get your attention. Those things are working well. Why give them any attention? Let me talk about what isn't working. I would like to come to this gathering, sit in this hot seat, and talk about my issue. And we say, and construct a pathway for more deprivation of what you want, while you're constructing with a justification and blowing all over the place, all kinds of construction of all kinds of things, and then when same old things keep showing up, maybe thinking that they're thinking that you should be in a place different than you are, you sort of want to explain why you're there. And so a tremendous amount of your thought of your construction process is about explaining why you're standing where you're standing, which just makes sure that you keep standing there longer. Have you noticed? Different places, different faces, but the same old things keep showing up in your experience, not because you constructed a really hefty, hardy thought way or pathway and it's still proving itself to you, but because you keep constructing it. If you would stop today talking about those things that you've been worried about for years or weeks or days, or that thing that started bothering you yesterday, if you would today make a decision that you're not going to talk about it, that you're going to talk about something that is constructing a pathway towards something that you want instead, you know what would happen with that pathway that you've constructed? Even if you'd constructed it for 50 years, 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, do you know what would happen with that pathway? It would peter out within 30 days. It would peter out and it would cease to exist. Your point of attraction would no longer be connected to this unwanted thing if you would stop renewing your vibrational connection to it. But most people, because they don't understand law of attraction, they don't even know they're vibrational beings, they don't even know they're emitting a signal, and they certainly don't know that law of attraction is responding to the signal. So they're just out there flowing and blowing all over the place, all kinds of construction of all kinds of things. And then when something unwanted shows up, they go, ah, who knew? It just came out of the blue, they explain. And we say, it did not come out of the blue. It may have come out of the oblivious, but it didn't come out of the blue. It came out of the vibrational construction. So we've been talking to you, if you've been listening to us for a while, we've been talking to you endlessly about ways that you can focus toward what you want. Now, we know that sometimes it's not very meaty or interesting to think about what you want when what you don't want is so vivid. But we want to demonstrate here at the beginning of this synthesizing evidence and culmination of all of that magnificent life. You were pure, positive energy before you came into this body. And every moment that you've been here, you're asking for more improvement. And the source within you takes the best of what you ask for and holds it as the standard for you to make your way to. Sometimes people say, oh, if I just please myself, or if others just please themselves, would it not be a world of chaos? And we say, it would be a world of alignment. It would be a world of empowerment. It would be a world of security. You act out, you murder each other, you try to control one another, you abuse one another from your insecurity, not from your security. You are mean to each other from your place of hatred, not from your place of love. It is your disconnection with who you are that causes you to act out in all of those abhorrent ways. You do not need to worry about your world getting worse if you selfishly choose alignment with Source. And the good news is you don't have to wait for everybody else to figure it out, because law of attraction will help you achieve only the world that is a vibrational match to the vibrations that you practice and make chronically your own. It's not possible for someone to assert a negative experience into your experience. There is no law of assertion. This universe is based upon attraction. It's only inclusion based, which means you get what you think about. You get what you vibrate. We're just here to remind you, you might want to practice more. You might want to clean up your vibration. You might want to talk more about what you do want and less about what you don't want, because you know what most of you are doing? You're doing some of both, which means you're getting some of both. And you're getting a lot more of what you don't want than you deserve or than you want. And it's because we love you very much, you're sloppy with your thinking. It's because we love you very much, you don't care enough about how you feel. You gave that up early on when your mother said, care about how I feel. And we want you to leave here sort of with a new intention that says, it matters how I feel, and I'm working on how I feel, because I'm going to feel myself into alignment with who I really am. And you know what happens when you feel yourself into alignment with the Source, with the God, with the Spirit, with the furthest, most expanded version of who you are? You know what happens when you align with that? Oh, you are harnessing the power that creates worlds. Your leverage is enormous. The cooperative universe stampedes around you. You find people just knocking themselves out, people who are vibrationally equivalent to that which you are. When a bunch of you who are in the vortex, rendezvous, and law of attraction, make sure you do, you have a thrilling, progressive, productive, effective experience. But when a bunch of you rendezvous outside the vortex, you have an argumentative, uncomfortable, disorganized, unproductive, miserable experience, you see. So, thank you, contrast. You've brought clarity to me. Thank you, me, for discerning the contrast. Thank you, universe, for having contrast within it. Thank you, source, for knowing what part of the contrast I really want. Thank you, emotions, for letting me know what path is the path I want to follow.
It's a fabulous feeling.
Isn't it?
It really is, actually.
A really good setup.
Yeah. So I really